And welcome. Thank you for being here to the California State Summer School for the Arts, CSSA Financial Aid Info Session. My name is Jessica Hemingway. I'm the program manager of the CSSA Foundation. I'm joined by some incredible CSSA admissions faculty. We got Stacy Savoca and we have Ellie over here. Ellie's going to take it away in the financial aid portion of it. But before we get rolling, I'm going to give you a little bit of general CSSA information just in case we have anybody in the meeting who is like, but what is CSSA? So I'll run you through a couple of general information slides and then we'll dig into all things financial aid. So for those of you who are unfamiliar, we're called California State Summer School for the Arts, also known as CSSA, and CSSA is a month-long summer program that celebrates all areas of the visual, performing, and writing arts for high school students in the state of California. And we are a state-run program. We support creatives every summer during the month of July, and we've been around for almost 40 years. So this is our community. We're composed of 400 plus students each summer, and we have about 150 faculty and staff who support our students during the program. So the ratio of student to teacher is about 3 students to 1 teacher. And that's a lot of individualized attention and one-on-one time with your instructor. We pull from across the state as it is part of our mission to represent each of the 58 California counties. In addition, we have a small number of students who come from out of state and even international regions. We keep that pool small to about 20 students out of the 400 plus student community because we want the bulk of our population to be California state students, of course. It's our mission to train California's young artists in a pre-professional program that really prepares them to work in creative industries in the future. And our mission is also to reflect California's cultural, economic, and geographic diversity in our program. And our students come from a variety of socioeconomic backgrounds, and we'll get into that more in the financial aid portion. So as I explained, CSSA is a residential program. So coming to CSSA is a student's chance to live like a creative college student while they're still in high school. And for many of our students, this is our first time, or it could be their first time living and creating away from home. So we're located on a California college campus, and we'll be announcing which campus that we'll be on in the next few weeks. So definitely check our website for those developments. In years past, we've been on the CalArts campus, we've been at LMU, we've been on Fresno campus, we've even been on the Mills campus. So we'll be a California college campus. Stay tuned for the application, or not the application, the host site announcement, which will be coming very soon. So while you're on this campus, while you're living there and creating, students have access to all of the amenities that the campus has to offer: lab, shops, state-of-the-art technology, studio spaces, performance spaces. You'll live in the dorms and you'll have your meals in the main cafeteria. Safety is, of course, our top concern, and CSSA provides 24/7 safety and security for our students, including RAs or resident assistants who live in the dorms with the students. And at all hours of the day, students are either in class, they're working on their craft, they're enjoying activities and programs day in and day out. They're going to be very busy. And then it's not all work and no play at CSSA. Students also have the opportunity to enjoy field trips and recreational activities as well while they're at CSSA. When they're not working on their art, speaking of art, CSSA offers 7 unique disciplines, including animation, dance, film, music, theater, visual arts, and writing. Students apply to focus on one of these areas, and some of them have electives and choices within that discipline that students can choose from. And the common thread, if you talk to anyone at CSSA, is they're going to tell you that students are giving it their all, they're 100%. We like to say it's 100% hard work, 100% creative, and of course, 100% inspiring. And though you may have a major area of study, sometimes students have the chance to work with each other in cross-disciplinary collaborations as well. So how do we apply to CSSA? It's an online application, and you can access it by going to the URL link on the screen. It's got 4 main parts to it. The first part is you're going to enter your contact information and that of your parents or guardian. There's a $20 application fee, and waivers are granted for students who qualify for a waiver at the end of the application. The second part is we're going to ask for two references. They're not recommendation letters, but simply the contact information of your teacher or mentor or artist, employer. And if we have questions about your application, we'll contact them, though not everybody will be contacted. The third part are transcripts from your high school. You can upload an unofficial copy to the online app, and we're only certifying your grade level, not your grades, when we're reviewing the transcripts. And the fourth part are the arts assignments, which are outlined on our website for each discipline. And these assignments request that you prepare several visual, audio, or written work to support your application. And that's it. The application is currently live. You can start your application right now, and the application closes on February 28th, 2026 at 6 p.m. The CSSA team will review the applications during the month of March, and then notifications will go out the following months. Definitely give yourself enough time to apply early. We always suggest that students apply or submit that application at least 48 hours before that deadline. Even a week before is really great. And so just to run you through some important dates, February 28th is the application deadline, and the dates for the summer session are currently July 4th to August 1st. So that's it for general CSSA information. I'm going to go ahead and stop the share, and then I will let Ellie take over with the financial aid portion.
All right. Well, thank you, Jessica. And I just want to say welcome to everyone that's here today. Thank you for joining us. If you're here today, obviously you are interested in CSSA and interested in applying, therefore interested in the financial aid portion of it. Um, Let me go ahead and share my screen. Give me a second. All right. Share. All right. So again, throughout this info session, if you have any questions, make sure that you put your question into the chat, and we're going to have a Q&A session later at the end. So on the screen, you're going to see the application deadline. The financial aid application is embedded in the application to attend. So it's just one of the sections within the application itself. You would apply to both at the same time, and both are due February 28th at 6 p.m. So it's important to note that there is no opportunity to apply at a later date. So if you even think that you might need financial aid, we strongly suggest that you just go ahead and fill that portion of it out. And if you have any questions, you can always email us at comments@csa.ca.gov, and you can see on the screen our email. All right, so let's dig in a little deeper. So tuition and financial aid. Tuition for California residents is $5,174. Tuition for folks who live outside of California is $10,475. The tuition covers the program itself, housing and meals, curricular field trips, recreational activities, and most of your supplies. What it does not include is transportation to and from the program, your own personal items for dorming and, like your bathroom toiletries and such, and the optional Sunday field trips. Now, the reason for the cost difference between the in-state and out-of-state students is that CSSA is a department within the state of California. So a large portion of our funding comes from California taxpayers. And if you've looked at other residential arts programs in California and beyond, you'll find that other programs start at around 5,500 and can go as high as 14,000. So for California residents, CSSA really is a pretty good deal when it comes to residential pre-college programs. And we have our website on the page right now, csa.ca.gov/tuition-fees, if you want more information about that. All right, financial aid. So what do you get with financial aid? What does that mean? If you were to receive a financial aid package, what does it cover exactly? So when students are applying for financial aid, they are applying to reduce or waive their tuition fees. We offer full or partial tuition scholarships, and it is completely based on financial need. It's not merit-based. We don't consider your portfolio when making these decisions. And it's important to note that our financial aid is only available to California residents. So everyone is encouraged to apply. Filling out the financial aid application will not affect your chances of getting into CSSA. And the financial aid form only takes about 10 minutes, after you have all of your documentation ready. And the financial aid application is typically completed by the parent or the guardian, since they're the ones that are going to have the required information, such as the household AGI, the parent income and assets, size of household, and they're going to have the copies of the tax returns. So usually students will fill out, most of the application, then they'll turn the computer over to their parents to fill out the financial aid portion. All right. So we kind of alluded to supplemental information that you would have to upload or provide. So what is that? So in addition to filling out the application itself, you're also going to need to upload a few supplemental documents. So make sure you have those ready in either PDF or picture format. By picture format, I mean like a JPEG or a PNG format. So we ask for the first 2 pages of your 2024 or 2025 tax return documents. So they're also known as Form 1040. Those are the only 2 pages that we need. And secondly, we ask that applicants go to the Federal Student Aid Index Estimator tool, Student Aid Index, also known as SAI. So you and your parent will fill out the SAI estimator. And as you're filling it out, we ask that you take 2 specific screenshots from the estimator tool, which you'll need to upload to your application. And we're going to demo all of that just, in a few minutes. And lastly, there might be situations in which you might upload uh, like different documents. For example, for families who don't file taxes for whatever reason, we ask that you upload any pay stubs or award letters for public assistance, Social Security award documents, and anything else that you think may be applicable to your situation. And in addition to those pieces of documentation, we ask that you write just a short paragraph kind of explaining your situation, and that'll help us match what you've uploaded to kind of your narrative of your situation. All right, so before we move on to the demo, I just want to stop quickly for any questions. Um, let's see. Feel free to unmute, or again, you can drop it in the chat if you feel comfortable. We can address it afterwards.
Yeah, I had a quick question. I can add it into the chat. My only issue is that I probably won't be able to stay all the way to the end. So for the copies of the tax returns, for Kennedy, my husband and I, we're still married, like we're married, but we file separately. And my husband claims Kennedy on his taxes. Do you want a copy of both of our taxes, or would it just be his taxes?
Um, are you still? Do you two share custody? Like, there's no like split custody or
There's
anything like
no,
that?
like, we live together. Yeah. Like,
Okay.
we're
Yeah.
still together. Like,
Then
it's just, that's how we file our taxes. So I just want
perfect.
to make sure, like,
Yeah. Then we are going to request both.
okay,
Um,
perfect.
yeah. And the
Okay.
upload will allow multiple documents. So,
Okay.
like after you upload, you can just upload it again.
Okay, perfect. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, yeah, of course. Thanks for that question.
And
Okay.
Ellie, there's another question in the chat here. Are there any income level thresholds for financial aid eligibility?
We don't have a specific threshold. It depends. So it's because it's highly dependent on our available funding for that year. And so we aim to give out all of our like available funding every year. And so it's just we're gonna assess who who got into the program, who needs the financial aid, and give out all of our funding. I'm going to move on to the demo. And again, if there are more questions, just drop into the chat. The FAQ part is going to come right after that. We do the Q&A. All right, so I'm going to bring in this window. So this is the CISA website. I'm sure you guys are all familiar. To get to the application, you would just go to Apply Now. It's going to bring up this application that I've already started. If you haven't started an application yet, you're just going to like create a profile and then it's going to start an application for you. All right, so you can see I've already filled out some information. I haven't filled out everything. You can always save your progress and move on to different sections. If you're like me, you like to kind of hop around. So I am actually going to hop down to the financial assistance section down here. And again, just a reminder, the financial assistance is only applicable for folks who live in California and attend a California school. All right, so for this question, do you wish to apply for financial aid? You're going to say yes. And over here, I've also included like tutorials and like this overview here. So if you have a question, feel free to, do the drop down caret and read through. The answer to your question may very well be right here. Okay. So section 1 is just the parent and guardian information. So you're just going to fill out the basic information, the parent guardian's first name, last name, mailing address, apartment or suite number if applicable, state, city, zip, and phone number. And remember, for all phone numbers throughout this application, don't include any of the parentheses or dashes or spaces. We just want the digits. Your email, and then over here, down here, it's going to get into more of the financial portion. So the parent, guardian, AGI, that's going to be the household AGI. And then the annual income of parent or guardian 1, annual income of parent guardian 2, and then the size of the household. All right, for section 2, the student aid index portion, again, if you need more tutorials or more information, you can do the drop down caret and it's going to give you a lot more information and like the step by step and some like example screenshots for you. Okay, but this is basically what we need. So you're going to go to this SAI estimator tool that's linked right here. It's going to open another window for you. And this is the federal student aid site. This is also where you would go eventually, if your kid is going to go to college and they're going to fill out their FAFSA, this is where they would also start. Okay. So you would just click start estimate. And then you just go through and fill out these questions. And I'm going to make up some data here. And obviously you guys would fill it out for your student. All right, marital status of the student, unmarried. State of residence for the student, I'm going to say California because only California residents are eligible for CSSSA financial aid. All right, for this question, when the student begins the 26-27 school year, what will their grade level be? Everyone is going to answer first year freshman, okay? So it doesn't matter if you're a senior in high school or you're a junior in high school or a sophomore in high school, everyone is going to answer first year freshman. All right, so you can go continue. Does the student have children or other dependents that they support? I'm going to answer no. There's other circumstances. And if these apply to you, go ahead and check it off. I'm going to check none of these apply. All right, parent marital status. You just answer that and then continue filling it out as it applies to you. All right. So here we go. We are in I think I skipped a section. Did the student's parents file taxes in 2024? Actually, I'm going to say yes, and it's going to open up parent financials. So you're going to enter in your AGI, your total assets, and you can read through what the assets are going to include. And then any child support, I'm going to say 0 for this one. Before you move on to the continue, this is one of the screenshots that we ask you to upload. So I'm going to grab a screenshot right here. And this is where you should as well. So it's the parent and income assets page. So the way that I do it, I just right click and then I print and I do Microsoft print to PDF. Do it however you're comfortable to grab the screenshot. So I print and then I save it somewhere on my computer where I'm going to remember it. Okay, and then now you can continue. Now it's the student income and assets. My student didn't file their taxes in 2024 because they're dependents on me. So Then I continue, and now this is my results page. Now, CSSSA is also asking for a screen grab of this too. This, you're also going to upload this to our
Doing
application.
homework.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to title results page or just results. There we go. All right, I want to point out something very important. So going back to CSSSA's application site, you can see that we ask for the estimated SAI, okay? So on the results page, they highlight this number, but this is not your SAI. Do not enter this number. Scroll down a little bit and you'll see estimated SAI. So this is your estimated SAI, the 138185, okay? So don't put in the green number. You want this light gray number. So 138185. All right. And then here's where I upload the screenshot. So screenshot 1, parent income and assets. Screenshot 2, the results page. So since I saved it along the way as I was filling that out, that is going to be ready to go. All right, when it's green, then you're good to go. Results page. There we go. Perfect. All right, now we're done with section 2. And we can move on to section 3. This is where you're going to upload your tax return documents. So it's going to ask, do you have tax return documents to upload? You're going to say yes. Now, again, if your family does not file taxes for whatever reason, you are going to upload a different set of documentation. And if you're unsure of what that is, feel free to connect with us. Email us at comments@cisa.ca.gov, and you can explain your situation and we can give you pointers on what it is that you should upload, okay? But if you do file taxes, this is where you would upload it. So you would answer yes, and it's going to open up an upload file here for you. And I'm just going to grab my taxes and upload that. Okay. Now, if you do have supporting documents to upload, let's say you didn't have taxes to upload, then you would answer yes to that, and it's going to open an upload file here too, okay? But if you don't, make sure you answer no, and that's going to fulfill that question for you. All right, and then that's it. That's it for section 3. We're on to section 4, just blowing right through this. All right, and this is just the electronic signature at the end. So you just sign your name by just typing it, and then today's date. So 12/3. There, that's done. And then save and next, boom, you're done. On to the next section. So that didn't take very long at all. I'm gonna head back to my slideshow and we can do we can do some FAQs over here, start answering some questions. And again, feel free to start dropping your questions in the chat. While you do that, I am going to just talk through some of the more frequent questions that we get. So the first one, can I apply if I'm not from California? So everyone should know this. No, unfortunately, the financial aid is only for California residents. All right, so what if my family doesn't file taxes? So in that case, you would upload other documentation such as a award letter for Social Security or public assistance. And again, if you are unsure of what it is that you should be uploading, feel free to reach out to us, okay? Email us. Email is the best way to get a hold of us. All right, next question. Will applying for aid affect my chances of getting in? And the answer is no, not at all. And in fact, we encourage everyone to apply. In fact, we don't even look at the financial aid portion of the application until the admissions decisions have already been made. So it for sure does not affect your chances of getting in at all. All right. So are there any questions?
There are a couple of questions that are in the chat. Stacy has answered some of them, but I'll read them just for if there's anybody who's watching this webinar after. And I should mention that we're recording the webinar. We put each of our webinars on our YouTube channel the day after. So if you missed the first part of this, or if you know someone who's missed this webinar, not able to attend, they can also watch it on YouTube. So the first question is, when do you find out if you were awarded financial aid, and when is that in relation to finding out if you were accepted into the program?
A really good question. So you find out a few minutes after we send the acceptance letters. So we kind of do it in tandem. So as soon as the acceptance letters come out, I don't know, maybe it's not a few minutes, maybe it's like half an hour or something, but right after, as soon as we can, then the financial aid letters go out as well.
Great. And another question here is, if a student primarily lived with one parent and doesn't receive financial support from the other parent, do you still input both parents' income or only for the parent in which they live with or get financial support from?
It's a really good question. So if the parents are like legally separated or divorced, then we only ask for the financial information of the custodial parent.
Great. And then the last question that I see here in the chat is, does CISA take into account special circumstances like medical expenses? And if so, how does someone communicate those circumstances to CISA?
That's when you would use that supporting documentation upload, in which, in that case, you would write, it doesn't have to be long, a paragraph or two, just explaining the situation to us, similar to what you might put into an email to us. So you write a few paragraphs letting us know what's going on, and then any documentation that you can think of that would be like pertinent to your situation. So in this case, if it is like extenuating, like, medical debt or something like that, then you would provide proof of that.
Great. And those are the questions that I see in the chat. Once again, if anybody has any other questions, pop them in the chat or unmute and ask in real time.
All right. And I'm just going to put our contact information on the screen. So again, our email address, comments at cisa.ca.gov. We also have an Instagram that you can follow us on. This is where we're going to be posting, like, any major updates. And then also our website. Our website is a great resource. We try to put up as much like FAQs and demo videos as possible on that.
Great. I'll ask a question that I get sometimes on the recruiting trail. If somebody only receives a partial scholarship and still needs to pay for the rest, does CISA offer any kind of a payment plan, or is everything is the payment, you have to just do it all at once?
Unfortunately, due to our limitations, we aren't able to offer payment plans. Whatever is owed, the entire balance needs to be paid at once, or in one payment. We don't have the ability to split up payments. In fact, yeah. Does that answer the question, or is there like another side to it?
It's just usually what I get asked in terms of, partial scholarship or,
I see.
I
Yeah.
want to know if they can break those payments up. What about if a student gets into CISA, gets financial aid, discovers that they can't come this year? Is financial aid able to be deferred, or is it the kind of thing where they would have to apply again and reapply for financial aid and all of that?
They would need to apply again. Unfortunately, admissions and financial aid cannot be deferred to like a future year. Um, but if you apply again, the chances of you getting it again are high because as long as, your situation didn't change drastically. Um, Again, it also depends on the available funding for that year as well. Great question.
Yeah, are there any other questions, financial aid related questions? Pop them in the chat. Let us know. And definitely utilize the comments at cisa.ca.gov email if you have any questions after this webinar, or again, somebody that you know wasn't able to attend, or if you have like a very specific question or a personal question that you don't feel comfortable asking on the webinar, utilize that comments email. CISA is really great about responding in a super timely manner.
And since we have a little extra time, if there are any other questions, not necessarily pertaining to financial aid, while we're on here, feel free to ask those questions as well.
There you go. Are you starting on the homework? Here. There you go.
Luckily, I don't have any homework anymore.
Yeah, any other CISA related questions? Anything about student life, dorms, arts assignments, anything at all? Well, if there are no other questions, shall we get off a little bit early, let people go on about their evenings?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Oh,
People can have their dinner.
we've got one more lingering question here. Does the art that someone submits affect the chances of getting in? This is a great question. Yes, since it's part of what you will be up, part of your application, you are part of the criteria is the art assignments that you create and that you submit for the application. So that's one of the deciding factors on getting invited to CISA. Would you say that's correct, Ellie?
Yeah. Admissions decisions are based on your responses to those assignments. So that is mainly what is looked at. So if the art that you were submitting is going to determine the decision of whether or not you are invited to CISA.
But not whether or not you get financial aid.
Yes. Yeah, not whether or not you get financial aid.
That's why we encourage students, be yourself, show us who you are in those assignments instead of worrying about what you think that CISA wants you to create or to see, be true to yourself, show us what you want us to see, and show us, what's important to you through your art. Well, great. If there are no other questions, I'll just put a last deadline plug for you. That application deadline for the program itself and for financial aid is February 28th at 6 p.m. The application is now open. The summer session will run from July 4th to August 1st. And make sure you're checking our website to receive that host site announcement. We're going to be announcing it very, very soon. Once again, this webinar is being recorded and will be put on our YouTube channel tomorrow. So if you know anybody who didn't get the chance to attend, you can let them know. It will be on YouTube. And thank you so
Also
much,
have
Ellie.
We have another financial aid session February 4th. So, as you're filling out the application, if then more questions come up, that's another opportunity to join and ask your question face to face. Most likely
Absolutely.
me, Stacy, and Jessica.
Yeah, and Stacy just popped into the chat a URL link to the financial aid page on the CISA website. Thank you so much, Stacy, for dropping that in. And once again, if you have a question, comments at cisa.ca.gov, give us a buzz. Thanks everybody for joining. Thank you, Ellie. Thank you, Stacy. Great questions, and I hope everybody feels galvanized to apply for financial aid and apply for CISA. And we'll see y'all later. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.